Our favourite anime series have an insanely powerful main character that can be literally unstoppable when we need them to be, but we don't like a proud and egotistical show-off, but rather an MC that keeps their insane strengths to themselves and hides their true power from everyone around them. Welcome back to Animeology. Today we'll be taking a look at some of our favourite anime series in which a main character that hides their overpowered abilities. We know you've probably seen the classics, so chances are you haven't seen most of the recommendations on our list. Number 10. Arafuta. A brilliant fantasy isekai series with some light harem elements, Arafuta brings a polished anime series with many years of manga and light novels to draw from. The series is running very successfully so far and fans are eager for the next season. The series itself follows Hajime Naguma, a high schooler that is constantly bullied due to his relationship with the most popular and smartest girl in class, Kaori. One day, the entire class are transported to a magical isekai realm, with each of the classmates getting powerful magical powers. Unfortunately, Hajime gets a very basic and simple power that allows him to mess around with materials, an ability that craftsmen and metal workers usually have. The class goes on fun dungeon raids, but one day Hajime is betrayed and left at the bottom of a dungeon. Our hero survives and crafts weapons and attempts to escape the dungeon. Along the way, he becomes stronger and stronger, meeting a number of interesting characters, including imprisoned vampires, a girl with bunny ears, and a perverted dragon. Although it may seem like Hajime is cursed with a very basic and simple alchemy powers, we soon realize just how powerful he truly is. Number 9. Classroom of the Elite. Easily one of the most well-known animes on this list, Classroom of the Elite is well-known and widely respected for a number of reasons. A gripping and thrilling series, Classroom of the Elite is not afraid to get deep and psychological with interesting and mature twists and turns along the way. Set in the distant future, we follow an extremely advanced elite academy. Students are given complete freedom in order to prepare themselves for real life. We follow Kyotika, a quiet kid that does not really have many friends, but is happy just living his peaceful and simple life. We soon realize that Kyotika is actually insanely intelligent. He is in the lowest class at school, the D class, on purpose. He actually keeps his grades intentionally at average and just tries to slip by, and although we wouldn't guess, he's also insanely built and pretty skilled at martial arts. As the series begins to unfold, we soon start to learn more and more about the true history behind our MC and why he looks to hide his powers and stay in the background, not afraid to hide who he truly is from everybody around him. Number 8. Hayoka.
もし冗談だったなって言ったら殴るしかないだろうな。
An absolutely brilliant anime series and one of the best mystery series you will ever come across, Hayoka is truly unlike any other anime series you've come across, introducing the bite-sized and more fun slice-of-life format to some interesting and very unique mystery classes. We follow Horoto Orakai, as he is dragged along and joins the classic literature club of his high school. Set in a fictional city, the student in this strange and mysterious club begin to solve the number of mysteries that plague the town. You thought you were lazy? Horoto operates on a completely different level, never ever going out of his way for anyone or anything, only doing things that he has to do. And even if he does, it's a quick job that he wants to get it done with as fast as possible. His greatest weakness? Horoto has a serious love of mysteries. Once he gets an awesome mystery to solve, he won't let go until it's solved. This is when we start to realise just how overpowered our MC really is. Even though he doesn't really show it much, Unbelievably logical and smart, Haruto makes insane deductions that he keeps on claiming is just luck. Number 7. The Asterix War. With some epic action scenes, the Asterix War is not afraid to impress us with its brilliant fight scenes and crazy powers. But in its downtime, there's a bit more lightheartedness with some light-harrying qualities that make this a well-rounded and enjoyable watch. A brilliant core concept has seen the Asterix War see a great deal of success as a manga, light novel, and even a series of video games. Set in a slightly futuristic Earth, we learn how we've messed up our financial and economic systems with huge mega corporations running wild. The world has also been ravaged by a huge and mysterious event known as the Inverter Impact Event that saw humans around the world gaining powerful superpowers. The majority of the Asterix War is set in the city Rika with 6 academies that train students to use these powerful supernatural abilities. We follow the students at one of the lowest ranking schools and the introduction of a powerful new fighter, and how he could potentially help the otherwise losing team win. Alongside this traditional tournament-style plot, we have an interesting mystery of our MC and his missing sister. There is a lot happening across Asterix Wars, and a lot to keep you entertained. A fun watch from start to end, definitely check it out. Number 6. Bofuri. A fun and interesting isekai fantasy series that plays around with the world itself in fun and engaging ways. With a brilliant MC, Maple, a new player to this awesome online multiplayer game, doesn't like taking damage and decides to put every single skill point she has into boosting her defense. What results is this powerful shield user with completely maxed out defense stats. Insanely high levels of defense means that she walks unbelievably slow and does not even have any magical abilities whatsoever. But this high defense means Maple is able to tank most hits without taking any damage whatsoever. She soon starts to acquire unique and never-before-seen skills that shock every enemy she comes across. Alongside these insane powers and some creative thinking of using her high defense to her advantage, we see Maple overcome a lot of crazy odds that most people think she just can't reach. As the series carries on, more and more people realize just how unexpectedly powerful Maple really is, and soon becomes one of the most overpowered characters in the entire world's New World Online. Number 5. Parasite. Easily one of the most critically acclaimed animes of all time, Parasite the Maxim combines a lot of very unique elements that most animes don't ever attempt to cover. With gross and usually disgusting body horror, Parasite the Maxim also attempts to introduce some interesting science fiction concepts in this absolutely thrilling ride. Follow a high schooler by the name of Shinichi Izumi that lives a reasonably quiet life with his parents, when one night these tiny worm-like creatures known as parasites infect him and try to take him over. Shinichi wakes up while this is happening and traps the parasite in his arm, forcing the two to work together. You have a main character that is actually more like two main characters, Shinichi, the normal high schooler, and the parasite that's infected him, Migi. We soon realize that other parasites have begun taking over and eating people and are building up to an epic plan. The series itself has a very clear and distinct goal from start to end, and is not afraid of asking some very heavy questions and concepts. What is the meaning of humanity? Why do we treat the world the way we do? What is instinct? And what is love? Very heavy stuff makes it easy to see why many consider Parasite the Maxim one of the greatest anime series of all time. Number 4. World Trigger. A brilliant sense of adventure and a fantastic science fiction backing made World Trigger an absolutely must-watch anime series. We first learn of an epic gate that opens up on Earth to a mythical world. A quiet and unassuming Mikado city begins to fill with these strange and odd monsters that are called neighbours. These neighbours are way too powerful that humans and even our traditional weapons are useless against them. A mysterious organisation shows up and is actually able to fight back against the neighbours. The organisation is known as the National Defence Agency and uses special weapons called triggers. Activating a trigger allows the user to channel their internal energy called Tryon and replaces the body of triggers with a battle body which is strong and more powerful. The story itself is set around 4 years after this epic event in which most people around Mikado City have gotten used to these attacks. A mysterious white-haired student joins up at the local school. Turns out he is actually an insanely powerful monster and he is attempting to hide and keep his powers a secret from everyone around him. A well-designed world with a fun and interesting story at its core. World Triggers is a must-watch for any anime lover. Number 3. Infinite Dendrogun. A brilliant isekai video game RPG, we learn of an awesome new video game known as Infinite Dendrogun released in the year 2043. This game is able to perfectly copy all 5 senses and display an almost lifelike experience. We follow Riki as he enters a world of Infinite Dendrogun around 2 years later under the game name Ray Starling. Joined by him as his more experienced brother and friend, the trio begin exploring the epic world of Infinite Dendrogun and get up to some crazy adventures. Rigi himself recently finished school and is about to enter university, looking to spend his holidays and free times playing this incredible RPG. Starting off as a paladin and getting caught up in the violent Battle of Gideon, Rigi loses his left arm, but mans up and is able to defeat both Hugo and Franklin. Considering the real-life pain of losing your arm and the fact that Rigi was able to actually defeat his enemies in the battle really boosted his reputation around the world and earned him the nickname The Unbreakable. Although Rigi is a lot more humble than that and doesn't like to brag about just how overpowered he truly is. Number 2. Beyond the Boundary. We don't usually go for romance animes, but when something as brilliant as Beyond the Boundary comes along, it's really hard to resist the temptation. Combining some fresh dark fantasy elements and some extremely heavy and mature emotional themes, Beyond the Boundary is a series that constantly left us wanting more and more. At its core is 2 very strong characters that bring an engaging and very unique dynamic to the screen. It works, and we don't know why. The series starts off with Akito Kambara trying to save another schoolmate, Mirai Kiramura, from committing suicide. Things take a heavy turn and Mira forms a sword out of her own blood and attempts to stab her saviour. Akito doesn't die and we learn that he is an immortal, half-supernatural type being. Mira herself is actually a spiritual warrior that is the last member of her clan and the protector of humanity. The two find their story inevitably intertwined, and Beyond the Boundary starts to develop some of the most beautiful on-scene romances that we've ever seen in an anime series. One that you absolutely need to check out. And number 1, Strike the Blood. A fantastic anime series that had us on the edge of our seats from battle to epic battle, with some interesting characters thrown together to form one of the most interesting harems we've ever seen. Strike the Blood is a lot of different things, and it does them all so very well. The series itself is set on a man-made island just south of mainland Japan. In a strange monster and demon sanctuary, we follow Kojo Atatsuki, one that many claim is a powerful vampire that could potentially disrupt the balance of power across the entire world. Kojo is just a normal high schooler before becoming this vampire and is really hesitant to use his powers at all. But soon Kojo becomes the center of attention as everyone around the island starts to wonder what sort of risk this insanely high-powered vampire poses to all the other students and residents on the island. Not afraid to crack some jokes now and then, but definitely gets serious when it needs to. There are few anime series that strike up a perfect balance, quite like Strike the Blood.